Until we overcome unequal history, we cannot overcome unequal opportunity. But to be black in a white society is not to stand on equal and level ground. While the races may stand side by side, whites stand on history's mountain and blacks stand in history's hollow. It's time we get down to the business of trying to stand black and white on level ground. Lyndon Baines Johnson, 1972. There's a story that needs to be told from history's hollows that begins with the community of Neylandville and the school that they started, the St. Paul School. This community is not so far away, but it's not anywhere near a mountain. Between Greenville and Commerce along Texas State Highway 224, you'll come to County Road 4311, also known as Lee Boulevard. Turn to the south on Lee Boulevard. Be careful or you'll miss it. There's no signs to mark the road. Very soon you'll be in the middle of Neylandville, near the intersection of the two main streets. That would be right about here. If you're thinking that there's not much here, you're right, not at least that can be seen from satellite. But if you're looking through the lens of history, there's more here than meets the eye. The Hunt County Commissioners Court established the St. Paul Common Schools District by 1885. A new building was erected at this site in 1918 after the original structure burned. Additional facilities built in later years included classroom buildings, a gymnasium, and a teacherage. Bus service was initiated in 1938 to transport students from surrounding areas. These simple, matter-of-fact statements inscribed on an obscure historical marker do not do justice to the hundreds of lives that were deeply impacted in a positive way by the St. Paul School in a time when separate but unequal conditions were the norm for minority education in the public schools. In 1896, the Supreme Court used the rationale of separate but equal in Plessy v. Ferguson to justify the practice of segregation. Until the ruling of Brown v. the Board of Education, our nation continued to count the segregation of races in school as a constitutional practice. But as Oliver Hill, one of the lawyers for the NAACP who fought the Brown case before the Supreme Court, has said, education may have been separate, but there was nothing equal about it.
Oliver Hill Sr., who recently turned 100, had been living with his son's family for the last few years in Richmond, Virginia. Oliver Hill Jr. was there when his father died.
We were talking at breakfast, and then all of a sudden he stopped eating, and he had a strange look in his face, and I asked him what was wrong. He said, "I don't know," and then the next moment he was gone.
Hill said his father considered the Brown case his life's crowning achievement. Before that case, the Supreme Court held that states could have separate schools for black and white students so long as the schools were deemed to be equal. In this 2002 interview, Oliver Hill Sr. called that legal doctrine segregation's weakest link.
The doctrine was supposed to be separate but equal. But everything was separate, but nothing was equal.
In a separate but unequal time, the Neylandville community managed to build and operate a school that served the rural areas of Hunt County and even beyond the county limits. Buses were used to pick up children, and the school thrived. But the questions remain. Why Neylandville? Why the St. Paul School? What made this the destination for so many children, for so many dreams?